This is the Mighty OB'a here on clbTV and the internet at www.wfoam.com with our weekly sports update. A lot to talk about in the world of sports. Man, a lot of things going on, and let me tell you, the signing of Shawne Merriman is either going to be a great thing or a bad thing for the Buffalo Bills. I do disagree with some of our pundits that this is a rent-a-player type deal. I believe that Buddy Nix brought him in here to take a good look at where Shawne Merriman is. If Shawne Merriman is able to play at the level that he should be able to play if he's allowed to get healthy, he is a player that you can build a defense around. You give him a 3 to 5 year extension, paying him the kind of money that he deserves, and you bring in players and build them around Shawne Merriman. This is a big step in moving the Buffalo Bills to where they should be. And a lot of people confuse what I said last week in a weekly sports update that Fitzpatrick is a serviceable quarterback. Yes, Fitzpatrick is a serviceable quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Is he a franchise quarterback? That remains to be seen. I don't think so at this point. I think you still should always look for the best quarterback available if he's available to you in the draft. But the Buffalo Bills have the 32nd worst defense in football, and that's unacceptable. Is there some talent on this defense? Absolutely. So George Edwards as a coordinator has to be held accountable too, because there should be better play from this defense that's been in this system since last May. Last May, when OTAs really started, they should have a better understanding of what this defense is all about and what it can and cannot do. Obviously, we didn't have the personnel to run a 3-4. So you're basically running a hybrid. A hybrid, let me explain, is a cross between both fronts, 4-3 and 3-4, depending on what you're trying to stop from the opposing team. George Edwards has had to do that this fall because of personnel. He cannot run a straight-up 3-4. He does not have the personnel to do that. Whether we'll have the personnel to do that next year remains to be seen. But it's unacceptable that teams can just keep running the football on a professional football team for 2 years running. And that includes when Perry Fewell was a defense coordinator here. You're one of the worst run defenses in football. So people can say, well, Perry Fewell did a better job. Well, he did do a better job when their base front was a 4-3. But they could not stop the run during his whole tenure here. He was here 4 years. He was a defensive coordinator 4 years. They drafted personnel to fit his scheme of defense for 4 years. The Buffalo Bills were terrible against the run during his entire tenure. They never got better than the middle of the road, and then got worse during the end of his tenure. So let's be truthful about Perry Fewell as a defense coordinator. Did he do a better job? Yes, they kept teams out of the end zone. I felt better. We didn't get very much offensive help. They were on the field a lot too long. That contributed to it also. But they were not very good against the run, and they are the worst against the run this year under George Edwards. So I think that the defensive side of the ball has to be addressed in some form or fashion. If there is a franchise quarterback there, I think you got to take him. And you try to fix your defense somewhere else in the draft. You can if you do your research, you can find talent anywhere in the draft or through free agency. Look at what the Bills did this year by signing Antonio Coleman, Dominique Harris. These are great finds, great talents that are going to benefit this team in the upcoming years. Don't get me wrong. If a franchise quarterback is there, if Andrew Luck is there, you must take him. You cannot pass on a quarterback with that type of upside. Don't get it confused. Fitzpatrick is serviceable, but to me, he's not a franchise quarterback. The defense of the Buffalo Bills needs to be fixed. I am one that believes that if Shawne Merriman is playing close to where he was a couple of years ago, and he's ready to make a commitment to a long-term contract, and that's what most football players want, is financial security. You have to center your team around him. This guy can give you 15 to 20 sacks a year. You center your defense around him. You build around him. This is a guy that can do it, but let him get healthy. That's all you want to do. We're going to talk more about this next week. I think we'll be talking after a Bills win. When this was filmed, they didn't have a win. I think they beat the Bears. I'll tell you that right now. Most times I don't make predictions, but I do believe the Bills will win their first game in Toronto and beat the Chicago Bears. We'll talk more next week on our weekly sports update. We're looking at where the Bills need to start working. They made a very good decision in signing Sean Merriman. This is a guy that you can begin building your team around. That's what we need to do.